Mountain News, first at 4, continues.
5 months after the city of Prestonsburg took the first call with its new ambulance service, officials say things are going well. The service was established in November after years of work, putting to use the already trained EMTs on the fire department and opening up a few new jobs for first responders. Mayor Les Stapleton says the ambulance service, which is in the process of adding its third ambulance to the fleet, has provided needed relief to the existing agencies.
It doesn't tax the two private agencies as much, so they can take care of calls out in the county. So it's freed them up to be able to do more things away from the city. We have got there in time to save some lives, and we've delivered a baby.
The new service is already being used as a training ground for potential EMTs and paramedics. Hear more about that coming up at 6. With the weather warming up, more people may be hitting ATV trails across the region, but before anyone does, search and rescue officials want to equip folks with the tips needed to keep them safe. London Laurel Rescue Squad officials say when temperatures rise, they can receive up to 3 calls a week on ATV-related incidents. So before anyone hits a trail, rescuers say preparation is key in staying safe.
The biggest safety tip that I can think of is checking your stuff before you go out on a trail to make sure that it's in good working order, knowing where you're going to be going. A trail needs to be familiar to you. If you're not familiar with the area, it can be easy to either get lost in the woods or go over an embankment or a cliffside.
Those with the London Laurel Rescue Squad add that it's also important to stick to more commercial trails versus private ones, because if an ATV incident were to happen, rescuers can have an easier time finding you.
Watching a few showers pushing through the region, at least parts of the region as we head through this evening, but drier weather will be around for at least a little while longer. Here's a view from Pinpoint Doppler right now. And mostly just some light showers there along and south of Highway 80. For the most part, as we head into portions of Bell County, even back toward Whitley, parts of Pulaski County, maybe some of that reaching the ground. More likely reaching the ground there in southern parts of Harlan County and into central portions of Lee County in Virginia as that continues to slowly work its way off to the north and east. Mostly cloudy for many of us, even though we are warm. Look at this, 70 from Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. The conditions from Pikeville Medical Center. We're mostly on the cloudy side, but we are rather warm. 72 in Pikeville, same thing Prestonsburg over to Grundy, 74 in Wayne, but where we've seen some of those showers hang on a little bit longer, we're still in the low to mid 60s across portions of East Tennessee and up toward the Kentucky border. So still watching a few of those warmer temperature, the cooler temperatures out there. Forecast first the next 12 hours. We're down into the 50s as we head into tonight. Mild lows as we bring some warm temperatures back into the region. Detailing it all in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. An extensive search operation is underway along the Kentucky River. Rescue crews are searching for an Indiana man along the river in southern Jessamine County. This marks the 3rd day rescue crews have been looking for the man. Up to this point, not much has been said about the circumstances of what took place that led to the man being reported as missing.
Don't exactly know the circumstances exactly at this time. Is still a missing persons case up till now.
All of the rain that area has received in the last few days has made the challenge to find the man even more daunting since the river is higher than usual and moving more swiftly. We're learning more about a deadly crash that closed parts of Interstate 64 this morning in Franklin County. Crews were forced to shut down the westbound lanes for several hours this morning. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says they were called out onto I-64 westbound around 5 a.m. The coroner was also called out as officers found a man dead at the scene around mile marker 49. They say Frankfort police assisted them in reconstructing the scene, which involved several cars and a pedestrian. The Sheriff's Office says they are not yet able to share many details about how everything unfolded, but they are still investigating the death. 2 crew members are dead after a medical helicopter crashed in Alabama yesterday. Air Medical Transportation Company Air Methods says the chopper was sent to help a hiker with breathing problems and chest pains. It crashed at the landing site. Air Methods says only 3 crew members were on board at the time. 1 person died at the scene. 2 were taken to the hospital where another one later died. The third person is in critical condition. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the crash. 3 Americans and 1 Canadian are the lucky astronauts selected to circle the moon next year. They will be the first humans to fly in the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years. CBS's Danya Backus has more on this historic deep space mission from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Artemis II crew.
Applause thundered inside the Johnson Space Center in Houston as NASA tapped 3 men and 1 woman to head to the moon. Mission specialist Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen, pilot Victor Glover, and Commander Reed Wiseman will embark on a 10-day journey circling the far side of the moon.
Am I excited? Absolutely.
The 4-person crew includes the first woman, the first person of color, and the first international crew member on a lunar mission. Together, they'll become the first to fly NASA's Orion capsule.
Orion looking back at Earth as it travels toward the moon.
An unmanned Orion completed a test run last year, capturing incredible images from space.
Artemis I was a resounding success, and Artemis II will leverage that by putting humans in the loop.
This is the first moon mission since Apollo 17 back in 1972. The Artemis II crew will not land or even go into lunar orbit, but instead pave the way for future space exploration.
It is the next step on the journey that gets humanity to Mars. Yeah, you can clap for that. That's big.
As the crew told CBS News, it's an enormous responsibility.
We will have the eyes of several nations of the world on us. We have all of our friends in the astronaut office. We don't want to let them down. We want to make them proud.
The mission is scheduled for no earlier than November of next year. If this moonshot is a success, NASA hopes to land astronauts on the moon once again by 2025. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A train hauling cases of beer derailed in western Montana. It happened near Quinn's Hot Springs yesterday morning. About 25 cars derailed. It clearly made a mess, but authorities say nobody was hurt and there's no danger to the public. The cause of the incident is still under investigation. Officials in Toledo, Ohio say more than 1,500 gallons of fuel spilled into the sewer when a tanker truck hit a dumpster Saturday. The compartmentalized tanker was carrying both gasoline and diesel fuel. Environmental Services authorities determined that the fuel would flow directly into the city's water reclamation system and would be remediated. Officials say it was contained to the sewer system and none of it entered the public waterway. Coming up on